Hey everyone, it's Melanie Ham. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about metallic thread. We're headed into the holiday season, and so I thought I would talk about metallic thread because working with it is a little bit different than regular thread, and I want to give you my best tips and tricks. As always, you can head to my blog for even more information, melaniekham.com, and I have a tutorials tab that has all of my sewing tutorials there too if you're looking for that. So let's talk about metallic thread. I have two different brands here. This is Wonderfil, and this is the Rayon Core Wonderfil metallic thread in that pink. And then this is the Superior Threads Metallics. This is the Superior Metallics in this green, and this is the one that I used here on my sample. So I've got my light pumped up so that you can see that beautiful shine on that metallic thread. Here's what the back looks like. I will sew a couple samples here in a minute, but I want to talk about the differences between these metallics. The Wonderfil is a Rayon Core, which basically means it's not going to stretch. So that's one of the things that happens a lot with metallic thread, is that it shreds, and it can be kind of difficult to work with in that way. So one of their ways to sort of resolve that is that it doesn't stretch, which means that it behaves more like regular thread with your sewing machine. So that's this one. To be totally honest and transparent, I find this one a little tricky to work with. And the reason why is because it's really squirrely. It has a little mind of its own. It's a little difficult to work with, in my opinion. But it's a very high quality thread. Wonderfil is a great brand. And so that's not to say that you shouldn't try it, because everybody should try it on their own machines. Use a sample piece like this and test it out for yourself. That being said, I do love the Superior Threads Metallics. Superior Threads also a great brand. They have lots of really great products, and this one works really well for me from my machine, and I feel like I don't have to fiddle with my tension very much when I'm using it. So that's why I like this one. This one does, though, have a stretchier core. So it behaves a little bit differently than standard thread does. It has more give and more stretch in that thread. I actually like that because I feel like the metallic thread can sometimes shred. You have a lot more thread breakage due to the metallic nature. And so I have found that this works a little bit better for me. Okay, so the other thing that you want to use with your metallic thread, whatever kind you're going to use, is the top stitch needle. So this is by Superior Threads. There are different other ones. I just happen to have this one on hand. And the thing about a top stitch needle is it has a larger eye. So the eye, you can kind of see there, the eye of a top stitch needle is kind of elongated. And that allows for the thread to kind of wiggle around in that needle, and it helps with thread breakage. So whenever you're using metallic threads, make sure that you use a fresh needle, and if you have one, a top stitch needle, because that's just going to help you a lot with your thread issues. And I love that the Superior Threads packaging tells you can ignore my rips, but it says use a top stitch 9014, and it also tells you reduce your upper tension to 1. So that's the other thing with specialty threads. A lot of times you want to lower your tension. All right, so I'm going to go over my machine settings here really quick. I'm going to be sewing on my Juki TL 2010Q. This is my favorite sewing machine that I own, and I love it. I get all my Jukis from so many things in Florida. Timm over there is the greatest, and so I will have my link down below. So if you want to check it out, he is the best with customer service as well. So. And I'm a fan of Juki, although he sells multiple brands. I like to bump my stitch length up to a 3, and I've got my tension down to a 1. Although on this machine, I tend to have my tension pretty low in general anyways. That's just what it likes. For my normal stitching, I usually use Wonderfil. I've got a top stitch needle already in there from when I was stitching my sample to begin with. The biggest problem people have when sewing with metallic threads is that they break and it shreds. This is not the kind of thread to like put the pedal to the metal and give it, you know, see how fast your machine can sew, okay? Let your machine sort of do the work for you, and don't put any extra stress or pressure on that thread, which is not too hard since you're gonna just be doing this for accents. Okay, so usually when you have tension problems, you wanna make sure to check the back, check the front. Your sewing machine manual will have diagrams and help you with your tension. So whatever sewing machine you have, check your machine manual and always check there first with their recommendations on how to adjust your tension. If you need to clean out your machine, oil your machine, you know, follow the manufacturer's recommended instructions for that. So I wanted to show you one of the reasons why this thread was a little bit harder for me to work with is because it's very squirrely. So you can see the minute you kind of like start to pull on it, it just like comes, I don't know, can you see that? It just like flies off of the spool, okay? It's just flying off there. And it kind of keeps getting tangled. See how it just sort of gets everywhere. So that's my biggest complaint with this thread. That being said, when I was working with it, once I got a good stitch, which I'll get a close-up, it is a very pretty thread. And it looks really nice. That pink is gorgeous. It just took me a little while to get there. So it looks beautiful. It's just a little tricky to work with out the gate. Okay, so here's my sample. You know, you can see how beautiful that pink looks here once I got that stitch down. But it took me, you know, several tries to get my tension right, and the green pretty much just did it right right away. But that pink is a beautiful color. And so once I got it going, it turned out nice. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little lesson on metallic thread. Let me know in the comment section what you plan to use this on. My goal is to always just help make your life a little bit easier when you're jumping into this world of sewing and making, quilting, crochet. So let me know what you plan to use it on. And of course, tag me on social media. I would love to see your projects using your metallic thread. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my blog, melaniekhamm.com, and all the links down below from the things I mentioned today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!